Over the past couple of months, we've been seeing a lot of new coasters open up, and something very strange has been happening with each of these new openings. Almost every time a ride is praised, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying these rides are bad, but...
Clear number one. Further, this may be my new favorite roller coaster, although I'm still debating that part.
I still need some time to process it, but wow.
Undoubtedly, my new number one, and it isn't even really that close. Okay, the last one was me, but you get the point I'm trying to make. Almost every single time a new ride opens up, it's either considered the best in its park or the best in the world by at least one person. It's gotten ridiculous to the point that I'd be willing to bet that when Air Force One opens up, we're gonna have people saying that that's the best in the world, and then when Pantheon opens up, we're gonna have people saying that that is the best in the world. I'm realizing now that those open up in reverse order, but you get what I'm trying to say. It started back with Orion, and initially Orion was getting shit on left and right, but once the ride opened and people actually rode it, well...
Number 21 is Orion at Kings Island.
People liked it, but like, Mr. Thrills, are you really telling me that you would take Orion over Phantom's Revenge and Iron Rattler? Really? I mean, yeah, I haven't been on Orion or any of these three for that matter, but these are classic rides that have been beloved by almost everybody for years before Orion was even in the planning phases. But now people say Orion is at least the third and sometimes even second best Giga behind Fury and I-305, depending on who you ask. And okay, you know what? That's fine. Orion is a great looking ride and these B&M Gigas are all very similar. It only makes sense that the most recent one is one of the best ones because, you know, they're beginning to perfect their craft. And then Candemonium. This ride is hot ass. Okay, it's not ass, but for a B&M Hyper, this shit just falls in its face. Like, it just falls flat on its face. There is nothing here that I can say Candemonium does better than any other B&M Hyper. That's not saying Candemonium is a bad ride, but every element that this ride has is inferior to one on a different ride. Both the 5-second floater hill and the speed hill are just lesser versions of Mako's. The outer bank doesn't do jack shit. You barely even get airtime. The swoop around the Kisses fountain is nice, but the helix is forceless, and the Kisses fountain isn't actually technically part of the ride. It's just at the park entrance. And just look at this color scheme. It just looks like someone took a shit all over this track. Like, come on. I know it's trying to be chocolatey, but chocolate is supposed to be enticing. It's supposed to taste good. This looks like a fucking clogged toilet. And don't even get me started on how short this is. This ride is literally over in less than a minute. And some people have the nerve to put it above Skyrush and Nitro. Like, no. Look, I put this ride decently high in my top 25, mostly because of the fact that I've been to like 5 parks. And it's not a bad ride, like I said. I just wouldn't call it all that great either. It's by far my least favorite of the 3 B&M Hypers I've been on, and I really don't understand why people rate it so highly. Well, actually, I do. It's new Costaritis, but we'll get back to that. Anyways, moving on to 2021 coasters, we have Condo, where a lot of people called it the greatest coaster ever built, without even riding it. People were saying Steve had finally met its match, and Intamin was going to be back on top with the best coaster in the world, and that they'd kill for a chance to ride it. And then the park flooded, and then it had to close. And now no one gives a shit. Out of all the rides I've talked about so far, this is the one I'm least qualified to talk about because I haven't even been on anything remotely close to it. But I still think it's funny that everyone went crazy about this ride, but now they realize they can't ride it, so no one cares. Next, we have Ride to Happiness from Plopsaland. Again, I'm not super qualified to judge this really at all because I haven't even been on the Extreme Spinner in the US, but I really doubt that a mock spinning coaster is better than Steel Vengeance, Zadra, Velocicoaster, I-305, Expedition G-Force, Terran, Egenica, and the list just goes on. Like, even if this were a perfect layout for a mock spinning coaster, it's a spinning coaster. Like, I just can't see a spinning coaster being the best in the world. The launches are also probably weak because it's a mock coaster, and yet people who haven't ridden it are saying that this is one of the best coasters, if not the best coaster in the world, and some people who have are saying it's the best coaster in the world. Again, I have nothing to back up my judgment of this ride, just based on the fact that, like, look at this, and then look at this rogues gallery that it's up against. I was a huge supporter of this ride before it came out, and I still think it looks like an amazing ride, but again, I don't think it quite meets the praise that it's been getting. And then we've come to 2022 with probably the most egregious examples of this. First, we had Icebreaker, with some people claiming that it's the best in the park, over Mako, the B&M Hyper. But that's the minority. I think the more common claim is that Iron Gwazi is the best coaster on Earth. First of all, Iron Gwazi just looks like a worse version of Zadra. The best element on Iron Gwazi is also on Zadra, and the second best is a dip on every RMC. Zadra also has a 0G stall that just destroys the 0G stall in Iron Gwazi, and apparently the death roll has been pretty disappointing, so it takes both of those out, and they both have an equally sized outer bank, but a lot of people have been saying the Iron Gwazi outer bank is more aggressive with the snaps than Steel Vengeance, but doesn't quite have the airtime. I don't know where I just got Steel Vengeance. I'm talking about Zadra and Iron Gwazi. I just talked about Steel Vengeance. But the point I'm trying to make is that Iron Gwazi's Outer Bank was a little lackluster. I'm not saying Iron Gwazi is bad or even that it's a great ride or incredible ride. I'm not saying it's not an incredible ride because it does look to be an incredible ride. I really just don't think it's the best in the world, and I don't really think I need to ride it. And maybe last year if it had opened, I probably wouldn't really have mind. I probably would have maybe even agreed with people's claims that it's the best in the world. But like I've been saying this entire video, this has become a reoccurring theme that's really getting annoying. People say Orion is one of the best Gigas. People call Candemonium, a borderline average B&M Hyper, one of the best. People were saying Velocicoaster and Conda were going to be the best coaster in the world before they even opened. People called Ride to Happiness, a spinning coaster, the best in the world. People say Icebreaker is the best in the park. And now people are saying Iron Gwazi is, for the 4th time, the best coaster in the world. Again, 4th time in the past year. I understand everyone is hyped because we're getting these amazing rides all at once, but like, you gotta cool it. New Costaritis is a disease. Well, not really a disease, but it's a condition where people love a ride because it's new. Not because it's really the best, but because it was really hyped up and now it's here. It's also called recency bias in shorter terms. I will admit, we had a pretty bad run for coaster openings. Things got delayed left and right. The pandemic stopped one of the best years for coasters ever, and then half of those best coasters got pushed back again until 2022, and some in 2023, and some got canceled, and some we still don't have opening dates for. It's a mess. So yeah, people got excited for new ride openings, which is great. I just hate seeing every 5 minutes new Velocicoaster is the best coaster ever built. Iron Gwazi is the best coaster ever built. Daddy Pig's coaster is the best coaster ever built. Like I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. I realize now that this video is just me complaining a lot about stuff online, which is kind of dumb, but I'm 3 pages into this script, so I'm going to commit to it. The point I'm trying to make is please stop overhyping these new rides. Every single ride that's built isn't the best in the world. That's just not, that's simply not how winning works. Anyways, I don't really know where this video went. Thank you for listening to me complain for a couple of minutes, and hopefully I didn't scare you away from the channel so that I can see you in the next one. Bye.